In the world of education, some names just mean something. And when you're talking about engineering in India and honestly across the globe, that name is IIT. But what's the real story behind that legendary name? Let's dive in and find out. So, have you ever really stopped to wonder what makes these places so special? Like, what's the secret sauce that makes an IIT degree something people all over the world want? Is it all just about one super tough exam? Or is there more to it? Well, today we're going to unpack the whole thing. All right, to really get why IITs are such a big deal, we have to start with the basics. So, what exactly is an IIT? Okay, so IIT stands for the Indian Institutes of Technology. And you got to think of them as part of this big, bold vision for a modern, tech-savvy India. Right after independence, the government set them up with a really clear goal: create a network of top-tier schools that wouldn't just teach engineering, but would actually shape the future of technology for the whole country. It all kicked off with just one campus way back in 1951. That was IIT Kharagpur. And the idea worked so well that a whole bunch of new IITs popped up over the next decade or so, laying this incredible foundation that's been growing for more than half a century now. And that growth has been, well, huge. From that one single campus, we now have this powerful network of 23 IITs, all strategically placed across the country to be these hubs of innovation. And look, while all 23 of them are incredible institutions, some of the older original ones, like IIT Bombay, Delhi, Madras, and of course the very first one, Kharagpur, they've had decades to build up this massive global reputation. We're talking about schools that are consistently ranked as some of the best on the entire planet. Okay, so we've got this huge network of amazing schools, but what makes them so special? Where does all that prestige actually come from? Well, it really boils down to a few key things. First up, and this is the big one, it's the academics. The IITs are famous for having absolutely world-class professors, a lot of whom are genuine leaders in their fields. And the curriculum? It's not just tough, it's always right at the cutting edge of what's happening in technology.
But it's not all just about sitting in a classroom. This is where things get really interesting. Students get to work with brand new technology, and they team up with major companies to solve actual, real-world problems all before they've even graduated.
And of course, to do that kind of next-level work, you need the right gear. The IITs have some of the most modern labs and research facilities you can find anywhere, giving everyone the perfect environment to push boundaries and innovate. So you put all that together, and what do you get? Absolutely incredible career opportunities. Seriously, this mix of amazing teachers, groundbreaking research, and top-notch facilities turns these campuses into a magnet for the biggest companies in the world. They're all lining up, competing with each other to hire these graduates, offering some seriously high salary packages. World-class education, amazing research, fantastic job offers. Yeah, it's pretty easy to see why millions of students want in. But wanting to get in is one thing. Actually getting a spot, that's a whole different level of challenge. The road to admission is paved with some seriously competitive exams. If you want to do a B.Tech, which is the undergrad degree, you have to conquer the JEE Advanced. For a master's degree or M.Tech, you're looking at the GATE exam. And for a PhD, it's usually an entrance test and then a pretty intense interview. And I really can't stress this enough. The competition is just insane. These are not your average tough exams. They are literally some of the most competitive tests in the entire world. You have millions of students fighting for just a handful of seats. The odds are just staggering. So, for those select few who actually make it through that grueling process, what's waiting for them on the other side? Well, the payoff is huge, and it kicks off with immediate global recognition. An IIT degree is basically a passport to almost any field you can imagine. Sure, a lot of graduates go into traditional engineering roles, but they're just as likely to get snapped up by the biggest tech companies, lead R&D teams, or even go on to launch their own billion-dollar startups. And this pretty much says it all. The IIT brand is known all over the world for producing graduates who are not just skilled, but are actually making huge contributions to research and innovation. It's why you find IIT alumni in leadership roles at top companies everywhere. But hey, to really paint the full picture, we have to talk about the tough stuff too. It's an incredibly intense environment, and it's important to be real about that. The other side of being surrounded by the brightest minds in the country is, well, It's a super competitive environment. The pressure to perform is always on, and just getting by takes more than just being smart. It takes nonstop consistency and an absolutely rock-solid grasp of the basics. So, what's the bottom line? The IITs are, without a doubt, the crown jewels of engineering education in India. They offer a world-class ticket to an amazing career. But it's a path that is going to ask for everything you've got: hard work, resilience, and just pure dedication. Which leaves us with one final huge question. For the millions who dream of walking through those gates, the goal is crystal clear. But is all that intense pressure, all that sacrifice, is it worth the incredible reward at the end? That's the ultimate question, isn't it? Thanks for watching.